How do you fit into this situation?
I'm the helper.
Really?
Whatever. Honestly, though, if it wasn't for her, I could not race this caliber of a car.
Okay.
Because I need buckled in. I can get myself out
Yep.
in 10 seconds, which
Yep.
is great. But as far as she needs to buckle me in, she has to back me up. And when you're doing this, you need to feel safe.
Uh-huh.
And you know that she wants me to live. So I just can't make her mad.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Let me know if that changes at any point today.
I will.
When he pisses you off and you don't all of a sudden want him to...
We'll see how hot I get as the day goes on.
What is this like for you?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's very adventurous. It's really, really cool and exciting.
He obviously doesn't stop.
No.
I've noticed that in the last
No, he does not.
2 minutes.
Which is a good thing
Yeah.
and a bad thing sometimes, because sometimes it's just like, okay, let's just settle down a little bit. But he's always got to be going and doing something.
Do you ever stop?
When I'm sleeping.
When
But
there's-
even then, your brain doesn't shut off.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
was thinking that myself.
It's true.
Wow.
It's always a go.
So who are these legendary old... This is Skeeter, right?
Yeah.
How are you, mate?
I'm doing well, sir.
Good. And don't call me sir. That's what the police call me. and this gentleman behind you is your son. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Hi. How you doing?
Doing good.
Good.
I'm Jan, and he's my clutch man.
Okay.
I'm a pioneer at this track.
Yep.
The track opened in '65. I was here in '65 with a BO.
Wow.
I made my first pass on a legitimate drag strip January 1957. The old Santa Ana Airport, C.J. Peppy Hart's track.
Beautiful. Wow. So you got it bad.
Yeah, real bad.
You could have got someone a little bit more experienced, couldn't you? I mean, like, these guys seem pretty green to me, Matt.
Okay, so here's the story. I raced for like a while, but I
Yeah.
never took it to this level,
Yeah.
right? Well, one day I had a question about a car. So obviously he has a funny car.
Yeah.
And I went into his shop. Well, that's all you really need to know, because now look.
This is what happened.
This is what happens. When I was little, I wanted to be a professional race car driver.
Yep.
I was probably 11 years old. And I remember telling my dad, hey, and I remember like listening to Jeff Gordon. He was my guy, right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
remember listening religiously every Sunday. And that's what I wanted to do. My dad tossed me the keys to a Ford Ranger and said, go teach yourself how to drive. And I taught myself how to drive in our field. Like I got so good I could drift like all the way around our barn and like everything. And I just knew from 11 years old that if I ever get the chance, I wasn't going to squander it. It just took me a long time through my process of my life to get to this point. But now it's here. So like I am more than ready for this.
You know it should take a while.
It
Right?
should.
We're not talking about riding a four-wheeler through a cornfield, Matt.
Right.
That should take a while
It should take
to run a
while.
pro mod.
And here's the reality of it. I wasn't the safest, smartest, brightest kid back in the day. So let's say I would have got into
That's good to know.
if I would have got into this even 15 years ago,
Yeah.
I would have that could have been bad because my immaturity and all that stuff. But I'm old enough now that I can listen. So if I give an advice, I can implement this or implement that and make this type of change and make that type of change. And I'm just at a much better point in my life to be able to handle one of these. Not handle, foot one of these. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Are you serious?
I checked that already.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay.
You don't have special socks and stuff for extra grip and things like that, Matt?
Not yet.
I'm going to ask a lot of stupid questions
Hey,
today.
there's no such thing as stupid questions because
Well, there is.
That's how we educate everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So,
I go,
do you have socks that say have an extra grip point so you can do like Loctite kind of stuff, or?
No, not when I'm working on the car or anything like that.
Okay.
Because I go through so many, so they're my gloves.
Yeah.
So I might go through a pair a day depending on what I'm doing, and I'll just if they get a hole, I just throw them away. So, but I mean, I can do everything with socks on, you know, like I can grab wrenches and, you know, do everything, you know. Yeah, so.
So, Skeeter, what were the two things that you told me that you learned very quickly?
Well, early on, I learned to not tell this young man, you can't. I sometimes say you shouldn't, but he doesn't listen to that. But more importantly, I don't know that I've ever met anyone any more down to earth, grounded, knowing where he's headed in life, and challenged.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when a guy called Skeeter tells you that, you listen.
That is true. Okay. That's something I'll have to fix later. Okay.
Have you just stopped offering to help all the time? Did you get to that point where you just went, I'm wasting my time asking to help?
No, I still ask. Sometimes I make him let me help.
Good.
Just like, let me do it. Just let me do it. Just
Yes.
this once. It'll be okay.
Good. Because I don't imagine he's stubborn.
Oh, no, not at all. No.
I'm not stubborn. What are you talking about?
Just tell me what I need to do. Wait, John.
Okay.
Need to come back on.
Come toward the front of the car.
I need to go front of the car first, Dad.
Okay. Here we go now. Go down. I got the body, John, so you can relax.
Because that's what I'm definitely doing right now, is relaxing while you lay under the body of the car.
How you looking over there, babe?
I'm good on my
We're
side.
good
My
over
side's
here.
in.
Yep, we're good. Okay. All right. Okay. Driver's door. John, is against the trailer. Then I'll guide you on this one.
Are you ever not amazed anymore?
No, I still get amazed all
Good.
the time. All the
Says
time.
that right now, but...
I'm not talking to you.
Oh, my bad.
I'm talking
yeah.
to her.
Yeah, he's talking to
Listen,
me.
listen. Shh.
No, he still amazes me. I mean, he's just an amazing person. Like everything he does, he's amazing, you know?
I would suggest you are too.
I would like to think so.
I would
yeah.
think that
I would
you,
like to think so.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. We make a good team.
That is my sister's oldest son. He had Batten's disease, and he was the oldest living
Wow.
child in the world that had it. He actually lived to 17, and they didn't think he was going to make it past 33. And then he ended up passing away. And
So he rides with you every time.
every time, he's my safety.
I'm just asking. Know what I'm looking at.
You know, this is my favorite part. Getting ready.
John, tell me the enormity of what's going on here.
It's crazy. When I heard he bought this car from our mutual friend, I was like, that's pretty wild. And then when Matt called, and you get to know him,
I was like, please?
yeah.
You think you can help with this?
So we worked together and got some changes made, and it wasn't anything drastic. I mean, there's no changes to the pedals, any of that. So.
So, Jared, while he's about to do
Yep.
this, have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, nothing. Not even close.
I mean, it's beautiful that you can accommodate him.
Yeah, it is. It's just such a cool factor. I mean, he's been around here for several years, and what he's done and accomplished is just amazing.
This raceway has been in your family for how long?
18 years.
So you would have seen some pretty incredible things at this place.
Yes, I have.
I doubt anything compares to this.
No, nothing does.
He's probably ringing you now, say, "Can we go? Can we do this?" So you could red light him here. You could completely mess up his day.
Yeah, I could mess up with his mind, but I'll try not to do that. All I got to do is move this one button one place, one way, and so pretty hard to screw up. Hopefully, I won't do that.
Well, at least we don't have to worry about the other lane.
No.
Goodness me! Like just trying to get my head around this. He has no arms.
Right.
He drives his car with his feet.
Yes. Yeah, it's first time he ever started coming here. I'd heard about him, but you know, it just takes everybody like, wow. And his attitude is like none other.
Yeah. This is not amazing to him. It's his normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for helping us do this today.
Absolutely.
What an experience.
Yes.
What the hell are you doing in there?
I am strapped into a full-size go-kart. So, everybody is confused on how I drive with my feet. And yes, this is my foot.
Yep.
Okay? Fuel shut off. This is my shifter. I'm actually going to put it in gear for you. That's how I do it. That's reverse. Now I can go into park. There's line lock.
Yep.
It holds my toe. Boom. Do my burnout. Let off. This is my trans brake. So when I'm up on the line, I'm holding on the steering wheel and I rest my foot against the button. And on green, I let go like that, and off it goes. I can reach my control panel. I got my water pump. I got my fan, my ignition, my kill switch, my starter. If I pull this down and yank on this, it's my fire safety
Suppression system. Yep.
Yep, and then here I can reach this too. This button up there is my chute. So that's how I run everything. And as you can see, I can like grab stuff and use my feet for everything. Down here is a lever. If I come around on the driver's side,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
See this lever down here?
Yes, sir.
When I push on this, it pops my seatbelt.
Wow. Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay, so it snaps your your seatbelt's off.
Yep, that gets rid of my seatbelt. Just like that. And that's how we activated that.
Gosh, you got a lot going on in here, mate.
Yeah, and then I can grab this, and I can
wow.
pull that down, and pretty much get to everything that I need to get to. But that's how I run my safety stuff. Pops off my, then I can get out of the car. And ta-da!
You just took your helmet off.
Yeah, just like that. I can reach stuff with my shoulder and undo stuff. That's how it's done. Took a lot of thought, a lot of time, a lot of energy. Been working on this thing for a very long time.
This has got to be harder than shooting bows and arrows.
It is a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, good luck, be safe.
All right, Matt, get out. Go.
That was IndyCar speed right there.
Are you Ricky Bobby now?
I'm up.
Oh no! You idiot! I'm getting a snapshot of your life right now, Jess. It's never boring, is it?
No.
Listen,
no,
you
it's not.
gotta have fun with life. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
It just shut down right before the finish line. Yeah, it just shut off. So I just want to look at it real quick. I didn't know if maybe my CO2 bottle just, you know how I have that throttle enhancer. So I just got to check it over. But no, I was not. It felt good. It was going great. So I didn't.
Yeah.
You got the best shoulders on the planet, Matt.
I got big arm muscles. What can I say?
Gun show.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? That was straight down the guts. That's impressive.
That's insane. Yeah.
He's doing that
Which
with
is
his
pretty much
one
Matt.
foot, right?
One foot on the steering wheel, 1 foot on the gas. And then when he gets past the finish line, he just swaps over to the brake. So he puts it in gear with his feet, obviously everything, yeah. So he's the man.
That's smooth.
Smooth, yeah, straight as an arrow. Nice pass. He should be.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
Turning it up. It's like that was only 7 pounds of boost at 28 degrees of turn. That's crazy. I was like, oh, this is great. This feels good. I'm not letting off. That's the fastest pass I've ever made in my life.
Really?
Just letting you know. Period.
So
Not,
far.
not the fastest miles per hour I've ever driven a car, because I've driven a car faster than that, but the fastest 8th mile pass I've ever made to date. Which means we get a little bit of good air and we're 499. That's all I got to
Jess,
say
you need
about
to stop.
that.
You need to stop encouraging him about this young lady, because you know what's going to happen. Faster and
even
faster and
faster,
faster.
How was that? So when you get a car, the first thing they say is, oh, that's so-and-so's old car, right? So you always have that when you buy local. But the guy I bought it from, him and I talked, we looked at the car for like 6 months or even more before we made a decision. And when we decided that we wanted to go this direction, it was all about how fast can I go as safe as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need the smallest tire. It doesn't need to be
Stability.
it's all about safe stability, straight down the track, as smooth as possible. And so that's why we came up with the 36-inch tire and the gears that we got and the combo that we got. We could run that number over and over and over again, and it will run that number, and it will be safe for me, because that's,
Yep.
you know, I'm not just trying to show the world that I have no arms and I can go really fast. I'm also want the guy beside me to feel absolutely confident that he can drive beside me, and we're racing as equals, and he shouldn't be scared to be in the lane beside me. And that's why I picked this car. And to be honest, no one has said, oh, that's Bruce's old car. No one has said that. So, oh, that's Bruce's old car. There it is.
I think that the big
Johnny.
challenge is how you're going to flip the guy off when you beat him.
I don't need to. Let me
Just to
tell-
stick your tongue out doesn't quite work the same, Matt. You know.
let me tell you what I know. I love archery and I love cars. And do you know why I love both? Neither one of those sports care that I have no arms. The car just wants to be driven, the bow just wants to be shot, right?
Yep.
That's why I love it. I can come out here and I can go down the track and people respect me as a racer. They don't look at me as like some
Yeah.
armless guy doing it. They're like, you know, he's doing this, that's awesome, and it's respect level. And
Yeah.
that's why I love this sport so much.
Well, I think that was a hell of a run, everybody. What'd you think of that, Skeeter?
Well,
That's awesome.
maybe I can get him to believe on the 5-0 now.
Yeah.
Turned anything up. We literally
That's
left
amazing.
all
That's
the
a good run.
Fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic.
I know, right?
He's quite a guy.
Yeah, but
He's quite a guy.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know that's the fastest I've ever been in the 8.
Can I have a look at that, please, young lady, just
So-
to check this is all legit?
Listen, we wouldn't be here doing this and making
Yeah.
this awesome content if it wasn't for Gerald and,
Absolutely.
and everybody and all the strings he's pulled
Thank
to
you
make
so
this
much.
happen. I know that, you know, I appreciate this a lot.
We
Like this,
definitely
like
appreciate
when I heard that this was actually going to happen, I kind of like I didn't sleep because I was like, "There's no way this is happening." There's no way this is happening ever. And then it
Yeah.
happened, so I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you so much, Gerald.
Absolutely, like it's
It is a
been.
cool deal.
Special, wasn't it?
Yes, it is. Very cool. Very, very special.
Everybody who helped, I appreciate it. He built the headers. He helped me with the steering wheel. Skeeter helped me with economy and to get more big boy parts.
And
Bruce
moral
has helped out
support.
a lot with you know, everything, and then LaDon Sams, he's not here, but he's also helped out a bunch with the motor, the combo, just helping me get to my dream.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Jeff.
We're done. But thank you so much.
Yes.
I appreciate it so much. See you next time. Absolutely.
Thank you
We're
guys for coming.
we're gonna shoot some archery stuff now, and then we'll just load up and get out of here.
Have at it. Anybody want any water?
Is it time for methanol moonshine, Matt?
I do want to get a drink of water. Can I see that real quick? Yes. I'm just letting you know. Not as fast, but
I was supposed.
I'm not gonna lie, I had this crazy idea of seeing if an arrow could beat a car to
Mm-hmm.
the 8th mile, where I sit here and I shoot while that car launches and I see which one gets there fastest.
Surely the
Where
arrow would.
it would, however, some of the really, really fast cars, oh, that was a bad arrow. So, we're gonna grab another one. That one's broken too. I've been shooting some recently and I've been breaking some arrows. It was never a good thing. 12.6 yards.
How's the sticky feel on your foot?
Oh, like tar. Do you have your phone?
Yeah. Pictures?
Yeah, take a picture. I've never shot on a drag strip before.
Okay.
A little over 20 yards.
Matt, strange question. What do you define as an arm?
Here's your arm. That to me, this part is an arm.
Right.
You know, it's funny because I say that I have, I call myself armless.
Yes.
But the reality is I'm armless, elbowless, wristless, handless, fingerless. It's just all gone. All I have is what I call nubs.
Right.
And I don't even know what I would call these as far as part of a body. I don't know what part of. I'm guessing it's the beginning of the shoulder, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But the only time I call myself armless is when I'm trying to get, like, my Facebook or social media posts are armless. But otherwise, I don't look at myself as an armless person.
I've got a better description. Fearless.
Fearless is a good word, because I believe that I'm not. I mean, there are certain moments where I might have a little bit of fear, but it makes me feel alive inside, and I like that feeling.
So when you walk up to Jess in the casino, she's sitting at the bar with a friend, and you just roll up there and roll the dice. And you say, "Hi, I'm Matt. What's your name?" Is that the way it rolled, Jess? Is that
Yep.
pretty well there?
Yep.
So some would call that fearless. He's not short on confidence, is he?
No, not at all.
When did the archery thing become a thing for you?
2011, 2010, like October, November.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find a job. Nobody will hire me. Literally, I can't get anybody to give me a chance. I remember going in to apply at a place, and they said because I had no arms, they wouldn't hire me, even though I qualified for the job. And I felt pretty hopeless. I felt like, how was I going to take care of my boys? Like, how am I going to put food on the table? Like, that's important to me. And I remember the guy who told me that. I remember after that conversation, I'm sitting on the couch at home and I'm watching a hunting show. And I'm like, it wasn't like a light bulb as in, this is how I'm going to have a career. It was, this is how I'm going to put food in the freezer. I'm going to go shoot a deer. And then I'm going to go figure out a job after that. So that's what I did. I Googled how to teach an armless man how to shoot a bow, and at that time there was nothing. So I had to teach myself by just trial and error. I self-taught myself how to do it. And within 2 weeks, I was shooting a bow. Within 3 weeks, I was in the woods and had shot a deer and put food on the table. And I was like, this is what it's like to take care of your boys. Like, this is what it feels like. This is an amazing feeling. I had no idea that it was going to take me on this roller coaster ride that I call life now.
This girl loves you. You want to see the way she looks at you, mate. Like
He's a little nutty.
Thank God she's nutty as well. But you, this lady's special, mate. It's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that you're unnormal, and it's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying there had to be challenges, you know, initially. And Jess, you even thought about one obvious one on the very first night you met. Like, you know, how does the plumbing work, right?
Yeah.
And how does he operate?
Yeah.
So those things, you know, I mean, I guess you fell in love with the guy, so it's like you take what the package is.
Yeah.
But it would have been different.
Yeah. It was different at first. I didn't know what to expect, but I mean, he's got an amazing personality, and I fell in love with him, and now everything is just, I don't remember any different or know any different. Everything is just normal.
Yeah.
It's just normal now.
The other day she went to the doctor for normal physical. And she comes back, she's like, that's what hands feels like. Because it's been for so long. I'm like, oh, well. But here, the reality is I've never dated or been with anybody without arms. So I can't relate to I can't relate to her at all. Because I've never dated an armless person. So I know a bunch, but I've never dated or nothing.
Okay.
So
You got a very good sense of humor, right? You have to have you have to have a sense of humor.
I literally wear a shirt when I go to the gym that says Arm Day. It says every day is Arm Day. Yeah.
At what point did you get to a point in your life where you rationalize it like that, or did that just come from day one, or did you just go, you know what, this is my life, this is how it is, I'm gonna have fun with it?
Honestly, I was probably 13, 14 when I kind of realized that, because the school I went to, you know, the kids would make fun of you
I was gonna ask about that.
because you were different and things like that. And so I kind of learned kind of early to block the people out, not care what they say, not care what they think. And the quickest way for me to make somebody feel easy around me is to show them my personality. Start off with a joke, start off with a whatever. It lightens the mood, and
Yeah,
I felt like
breaks
that's
the
always
ice.
it breaks the ice, and I feel like that's always been how I've done things for as long as I can remember.
John told me when I meet you, shake your hand. Right?
Yeah.
That's something he said, because that would be obvious people's brain. And I guess you'd be watching people's brains processing when they walk
Yeah.
towards you. What do I do?
I have a story, and that's one of the reasons why when you walked up, I stuck my shoulder out,
Yep.
and hopefully I said this. I feel like I say this a lot. I usually say, "This is how I shake hands," and then I go like this, because I want to kind of guide them into it.
Yeah.
I was on a stage doing some stuff, and Michelle Obama was there, and we were told not to touch Michelle Obama. And she did her thing, and I was behind her, and then she turned around, and there was a couple of us athletes on the stage, and she started going down the row shaking their hands.
Yep.
And I noticed that she sees me a couple people away, and she's starting to process what should she do, because I have no arms. And I was like, uh-oh, like, of course at that time her husband was the president.
She's first lady.
Yep. And it's all about respect, and she, all the eyes on her, and I didn't want her to feel, and so I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna say, this is how I shake hands to her. And she gets to me, and I say this. It's all I get out of my mouth, and she just hugs me. And I'm like, oh no! Like, we're told not to touch the first lady. So I'm like frozen in space, like, oh no, where's the Secret Service? Like, where are they?
Yeah.
But that's kind of where, like, and then that happened like probably 2014 or so, somewhere there in my life. And ever since then, I've always this is how I shake arms.
To be honest with you, when you mentioned her name, I thought she'd be a classy person anyway. So
Yeah.
that situation doesn't surprise
No,
me. It'd be like meeting Lady Diana, to be honest with you.
Yeah, she was very well. It's interesting because right after that, she gave everybody else hugs. So everybody on this side got handshakes, and everybody on this side of me got hugs.
You're the hug whisperer.
I was like, there it is.
How difficult was the archery concept to literally pick up and start getting proficient at? Like, at what point did you pick it up and then you went, hang on, I'm hitting targets? Was it a couple of years? Was it a couple of months? Was it
2 weeks. I will tell you, if I would have known what I know now, I would have done things a little different. And my mom can vouch for these stories, but I was probably 11, and I said, hey Mom, out there on that fence post, 50 yards away, I said, I put a penny, and I'm gonna hit it with my .22 rifle. She's like, no, you're not. And I'd be like, phew, and then I go out there and I get the penny and there'd be a hole in it. I've always had this ability to aim. I've always had this ability to be able to focus really good and block out the whole entire world and concentrate on the process. And I never was taught that. It was one of my gifts. So when it came into the archery, literally within 2 weeks, like, I was breaking arrows. Like, they were all hitting at 20 yards and breaking, and I was like, that's awesome. And then I realized it was expensive, We'll put it this way. I picked up my bow in 2010, October, November, somewhere in there. And I only hunted January of 2011 is when a guy told me the reason why people sponsor you is because you have no arms and you bring attention to their products, and it's not because you're good. And I wanted to be known as the best in the world, not the sideshow armless archer, right? I wanted to be known as the best. So it would have been January 15th of 2011. I sat in a chair for 8 hours a day. And by 2012, within 1 year, I rode into Olympic and Paralympic trials, and I was the #1 qualifier going into the next Olympics. I beat everybody on our team and missed the world record by like 3 points. And it only took a year to do that.
Took aim at the girl at the casino too. They're pretty good.
That only took 7 hours.
Pretty good at hitting these targets.
Yeah, that's only took 7 hours.
Were you always a drag racing fan?
Yeah, I was into cars way before archery. I just didn't have no money. So for as much as
What the hell's that got to do with it?
That's true. That's true. However, one of the dreams I told my dad was I was going to be a professional racer.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do it. I was young, 11 probably. And that's what I wanted to do with my life. And then I ran into a roadblock when I was 16 with getting my driver's license. And it kind of was like a reality check as far as how difficult being a professional racer could be and how that was going to play and stuff. So I've always had that dream. I've always raced whatever I could race when I could race it. Like we also like race 4-cylinder cars on redneck rally race courses.
Yeah.
And we win. We do really well at that too. And it was something I was just good at. It took me a while to be able to put all that into motion. It literally took archery to happen so I could have even a job.
It brought everything else into focus.
Yes.
You make the process look very easy. Getting out of the car, I think to myself, what about when it's upside down, when it's barrel rolled 30 times and all that sort of stuff, how easy it will be for you to get out? That can't even be in your mind because you're going out there to race a car. The peripheral stuff that everyone else is worried about because we think someone else just opens the door with their arms and gets out. But I don't think you even consider that.
No, that stuff doesn't cross my mind. And
Does it cross yours, Jess?
It doesn't. I don't think about it at all.
I will.
We're just out there having fun and being safe.
I would rebuttal that a little bit. I will. This is the honest though, because I've heard you say it, and I've heard Skeeter say it, and I've heard other people say this. Like the worst. Like if you were to ask them away from camera, like how they felt about me wanting to do this. When I had a 7-second car, no big deal.
Yeah.
But when I came to this idea about this car, there's definitely some little thing in their head that just wants me to be safe. That's why they never say no, but they shake their head like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
I know. I've known you an hour, and I'm thinking it.
They have no doubt of my abilities, but they all care about me. They all love me, and they don't want to see me hurt. For me, I don't look at what I'm doing that way like they do because they're not in the car, right? But deep down, you know they care. You know they don't want to see it.
Yeah, of course.
You know they're a little bit. When I showed Skeeter the blower, I had to sit there for an hour listening about what potentially was about to happen.
Yep.
And he still never said not to do it, but he wanted me to be very aware of what this is capable of being and how I really have to think about it and be careful, you know. But for me, I was just like, I'm gonna listen to all that, but this is what I want to do. That's why I jump out of planes. That's why I like. That's I don't know. There's something there, and it's what drives me, you know, like.
So you talk about a 7-second car. We're now a 5-second car with the potential to be a 4-second car. I want to say to you, at what point is it going to be enough, though?
That's a very good question.
Because right? Because you can say as much as you like that was a buzz and you just ran a very low 5 and it's your best ET ever, your best mile an hour ever. So what about when you want to run low 4s? Because that's the competitiveness in you, right?
Yeah. Listen,
we got this on tape here, right? So
okay
whatever you say here is.
What I need you guys to understand is that I've had a car and I've been 212 miles per hour in a mile. I've driven a car that fast before. It was a mile rolling start, okay? I know what that feels like. It's completely different than this.
Yeah.
that's rolling into it.
Mm-hmm.
This right here, the launch, the way you feel, and how fast things can go wrong with this car is
Yes.
completely different. However, that being said, this year, I'm fine with where I'm at. But the more I get used to the car, the more we go around, so maybe 2-3 years from now,
Yep.
like, I wouldn't mind running 180 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. There it is. We knew it was coming.
I tried.
Or more. But that's, I mean, if you get comfortable, if I get comfortable running 10 straight years at 5 seconds, I'm not pushing myself anymore. However, the reason why I say that is there are races I want to race that require consistency, not speed. So I'm focused on that at the moment. But there will be a time, maybe 3 to 5 years from now, there will be a time where that's not going to be enough anymore, and I'm going to want to run a 4.5 second. Then I might want to row low fours.
Yep.
It's my nature. Listen, in my mind, that's what pushed me in archery. If I didn't have that
Yep.
go after attitude to try things, then I wouldn't have been a professional archer. And I wouldn't have got to this level with a car.
There's going to be hypersensitivity to anything that happens with your race car. A normal crash,
Yep.
right, for any other driver in the other lane
Yep.
is not going to get the same level of scrutiny that
Of
yours
course.
is.
Of course.
And you have to be prepared for that. So there's going to be people saying, he shouldn't be doing that. Like, you know, what the hell? And it's not fair because it could be, anything could happen.
Yeah.
Your ability to control that car is maybe not less or more than the guy in the next lane.
Yep.
So that's got to be something down the road to consider, right?
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's a buck and bull, right? And I'll tell you why. For now, for the next 10 years or whatever, everybody who sees me drive is going to be like, woohoo, awesome, awesome, picture, awesome, awesome, he should do it, love it, love it. The second something happens, that same group of people are like, I can't believe you let him do that. It's just one of those things. It's you get the high and you get the low at the same time. I'm prepared for it. And let me put it this way, for as much as I can control the car, and believe in my abilities to drive this and do that, there are things that are out of your control. Things sometimes happen. What if you oil the track down? Or like, there's just things that you can't control. And at 140 and 180, like that stuff, I mean, who can really control a car? You know, I mean, it takes, but I don't think about that right now.
That won't be the point, though, of the scrutiny.
It won't be the point of the scrutiny. And it doesn't matter, even if it wasn't my fault, they'll still be like, what is he doing in a car? But I'm a big boy with my big boy pants on.
I tried to explain to those that have never been in the saddle that in drag racing you really don't get any sense of speed. You basically have two focal points. You look at that starting line, you look at that light, and the minute you get a green, you look at the finish line. And it comes to you quite rapidly. And that's the sensation. Speed comes from mailboxes, telephone poles, signs going by. And on the track, you don't have that. So 120, 140, 150 pretty much all feels like, but it's that sudden, here it is.
Sounds like a guy who's been racing since the 50s right there.
He knows what he's talking about.
So, how old are you now?
40.
So, are you still experiencing things in life where you go, ooh, you need hands for that? And then you have to think a way around that? Are there new experiences with new technology and new things like that where, you know, basic things that you take for granted, Jess, you know, like, are there new experiences where you go, wow, I need an arm for that, I've got to think again? Or is it all now, you've seen it all?
I've seen it all. In fact, I've learned that the biggest hurdle of me is other people telling me, you can't do that, you have no arms. Why can't I do that? Well, because you have no arms. That doesn't tell me why I can't do that. That's the biggest hurdle. I can figure things out. And let's say it takes me 10 minutes to tie my shoe, but I can still tie my own shoe. So guess what? I'll just plan 10 minutes in advance to tie my shoe, and we're still out the door at the same time.
So there was an episode of MASH many years ago where Hawkeye got his eyes badly burned in an incident, and he lost his sight for a few days. And what he discovered in that time was that every other sense got heightened. He smelt more acutely, he heard more acutely. So everything else overcame what he couldn't see. Is that like that with other abilities with you? I mean, you are incredibly dexterous with your feet and your toes, and so your body has adapted in a phenomenal way.
Yeah. So let me tell you the benefits of having no arms. Two crazy statistics. I did this testing session for a show called Superhumans, and they tested my brain. And they determined that the average person, the part of their brain that controls their feet functions, legs and feet, is the size of a pea. Mine is the size of a softball.
Size of a what?
Softball.
Wow.
Now, that could have been taught through growing up through my years and my brain just storing information. That's why I can use my feet as like hands as well as I can. The other thing that they found out is that the part of my brain that focuses is like also bigger than the average person, because let's say, and that's also taught because when I was little I had to focus so much on learning how to tie things with my foot. When I'm shooting my bow, it can be 10,000 people in front of me. As soon as I draw the bow back, I forget that I feel like I'm alone. That's my advantage. When I shoot on camera, in TV, I've never lost. Well, one time I've lost in front of TV. Two times in 13 years I've lost on TV.
Okay.
And that's because I'm shooting against people who've never had 10,000 people watching and cameras on their face. Well, I've been dealing with it my whole life. So when I roll onto that stage to shoot an arrow in front of everybody with cameras going like this, I go and I'm by myself again. And it's just the way my brain is. I have the ability to focus really, really well.
If Ron Capps, Cruz Pedregon, some of that was to call up and say, hey man, come do some cool things with us. Are you up for that?
Yes.
Think about it for a second.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Because who knows? I mean, don't get me wrong. You're not expecting to run 3-second passes and things like that and run nitro funny cars and things like that. But man, you got a lot to bring to the table. You got a lot of things to bring to a table, even for a heavyweight drag racing team.
Yeah.
She's nodding her head like it's hydroelectricity over there. So would that be a dream?
Absolutely, because we touched base on how that's my first dream I've ever had. My first dream is I want to be a professional racer. And when I say, and let me just touch on this for a little bit. When you say a professional archer or a professional racer, that doesn't mean you have to get paid to be a racer.
No.
That doesn't mean that you have to win everything. Do you know what that means? It means that you change the sport. In my opinion, right? You change the sport for the good. So for example, how do you know who's the best archer in the world? Is it the guy who wins every single match but is a complete weirdo and yells at everybody and has a bad attitude? Or is it the guy who wins sometimes that's decent? Or is it the guy who changes the sport like we've never seen it before?